Beneath your feet right now stretches a world you were never meant to see. A world carved into stone, sealed behind blast doors weighing 25 tons, humming with generators and classified radio frequencies, cities built inside mountains, tunnels that snake for miles beneath the desert, bunkers where democracy itself goes to hide when the world above burns. This is not conspiracy. This is not myth. This is documented history. Declassified files, congressional testimony, buried truths that have finally clawed their way to the surface. Welcome to the hidden America, the one that exists in shadows and stone, the one designed to survive when everything else ends. It begins in the 1940s. The world has just watched atomic fire consume 2 Japanese cities in seconds. America has become the first nation to split the atom and weaponize annihilation. But victory brings a new terror. The Soviet Union is building its own bomb. The Cold War is dawning, and Washington realizes something terrifying. The government itself is vulnerable. In 1949, the Soviets detonate their first atomic weapon. President Truman receives the intelligence report in stunned silence. The monopoly is over. The race has begun. And the question becomes urgent. How do you protect a nation's leadership when the enemy can erase entire cities in a flash? The answer lies beneath the surface. By 1951, classified construction begins across America. Not skyscrapers, not monuments, underground fortresses. The Federal Civil Defense Administration launches a secret survey identifying caves, mines, and mountains suitable for conversion into blast-resistant command centers. Documents declassified decades later reveal the scope. Hundreds of potential sites evaluated, dozens selected, millions of dollars funneled into projects that wouldn't appear in public budgets. The logic was simple. Nuclear weapons destroyed from above. So survival meant going below. One of the first major installations becomes Raven Rock. Deep in the mountains of southern Pennsylvania, just miles from Camp David, engineers begin drilling into granite. The official name is Site R. The unofficial name is the Underground Pentagon. Construction crews work in shifts 24 hours a day, carving out chambers that could house over 5,000 personnel. The complex spans hundreds of thousands of square feet. Water reserves, power generators, communication arrays that can reach submarines on the ocean floor. Raven Rock was designed as an alternate military command center, built into the mountain to withstand nuclear attack and ensure continuity of military operations during the Cold War. It becomes operational in 1953, and it remains operational today. But Raven Rock is only the beginning. 1958. President Eisenhower approves a plan so secret that even most members of Congress don't know it exists. The project has a bland bureaucratic name, Continuity of Government, COG for short. The goal: ensure that the United States government can continue functioning even if Washington, D.C. is obliterated. Mount Weather, located in Virginia's Blue Ridge Mountains, became one of the most significant facilities for continuity of government operations, designed to house key federal officials during national emergencies. Officially, it's called the Mount Weather Emergency Operations Center. Officially, it's managed by FEMA. Officially, it's just a relocation facility. Unofficially, it's a shadow government waiting to wake up. Carved into the mountain are entire office buildings, a hospital, crematorium, cafeterias that can feed thousands, dormitories, a television studio for broadcasting emergency messages to whatever remains of America. Underground lakes provide water. Diesel generators provide power. The facility is designed to sustain the entire executive branch for months without resurfacing. The public doesn't learn about Mount Weather until 1975, when a passenger jet crashes into the mountain. The accident exposes the site's existence. Journalists start asking questions. The government gives vague answers. Senator John Tunney demands transparency. A Senate subcommittee investigates. What they find disturbs them. Mount Weather doesn't just house the government, it has a secret list, a registry of thousands of Americans deemed essential to rebuilding civilization. Scientists, engineers, industrialists. In the event of nuclear war, armed teams would retrieve these individuals and bring them to the mountain. The rest of America would be left above ground to face the radiation. Who decided who deserves to survive? The files remain classified, but Mount Weather isn't alone in the mountains. 600 miles west, buried under 2,000 feet of granite, sits perhaps the most famous underground fortress in America, Cheyenne Mountain, the North American Aerospace Defense Command, NORAD. The facility that tracks every object in the sky, every satellite, every missile, every threat. Construction begins in 1961. It takes 5 years and $142 million. Workers excavate 4.5 acres of chambers from solid rock. The complex sits on massive steel springs designed to absorb the shock of a nuclear blast landing directly overhead. 15 buildings, built inside a mountain, suspended on springs. Blast doors weigh 25 tons each and can close in 45 seconds. Cheyenne Mountain Complex was built during the Cold War to protect NORAD command operations from nuclear attack, with chambers excavated deep inside granite and protected by massive blast doors. Inside, monitors glow 24 hours a day. Tracking stations communicate with radar installations across the Arctic. Operators watch for Soviet bombers, watch for intercontinental ballistic missiles, watch for the end of the world. During the Cold War, every alert, every blip on the screen carries the weight of potential annihilation, and Cheyenne Mountain has a dirty secret that won't be revealed for decades: false alarms. In 1979, and again in 1980, computer errors make it appear that the Soviet Union has launched a full-scale nuclear attack. NORAD experienced false alarms in 1979 and 1980, where computer malfunctions indicated Soviet missile launches, briefly raising fears of nuclear war. For minutes that feel like hours, military commanders prepare to retaliate. Strategic bombers are readied, missile silos go on high alert, and then verification. It's a mistake, a computer glitch, a failure in the system meant to prevent failure. The world doesn't end. But it comes closer than anyone realizes at the time, all because of systems buried in a mountain, operating in secrecy, making decisions in minutes that could end civilization. While Cheyenne Mountain watches the sky, other underground facilities pursue darker purposes, far from public oversight, hidden in deserts and forests, operating under code names that sound like science fiction but hide very real experiments. Nevada, 1951. The Nevada test site becomes America's proving ground for nuclear weapons. Over the next 40 years, more than 900 nuclear tests are conducted here, most of them underground. The public sees mushroom clouds, newsreels of atomic blasts. What they don't see are the tunnels, miles of shafts drilled into desert rock, bombs lowered into chambers, detonated hundreds of feet below the surface. The Nevada test site conducted over 900 nuclear tests between 1951 and 1992, with the majority performed underground after the Limited Test Ban Treaty of 1963. The underground tests serve multiple purposes. They're quieter than atmospheric blasts, they produce less fallout, and they allow scientists to study the effects of nuclear explosions on tunnels, bunkers, and underground command centers. Because if America's leaders are going to survive a nuclear war by hiding underground, they need to know what happens when a bomb detonates above their shelter. The answer is horrific. Even deep underground, the pressure waves are immense. Rock melts, granite vaporizes. Shock waves travel through the earth like ripples in water. Test after test reveals that surviving a direct nuclear strike, even underground, requires depths and engineering that most facilities don't have. But Nevada's underground tests reveal something else, something unexpected. The government discovers that nuclear explosions can be used for construction, for excavation, for creating massive underground spaces in seconds. This becomes Project Plowshare. Project Plowshare was a program that explored peaceful uses of nuclear explosions, including creating harbors, canals, and underground cavities for storage, conducting 27 nuclear tests for this purpose. The idea sounds insane now, but in the 1960s it's taken seriously. Scientists propose using nuclear bombs to dig canals, to create harbors, to excavate underground caverns for oil storage. 27 nuclear explosions are detonated as part of Plowshare, most of them underground. One test, Sedan, creates a crater over 300 feet deep and 1,000 feet wide, the largest man-made crater in America. The radioactive dirt thrown into the air travels across state lines. Citizens in nearby towns are told nothing. Decades later, cancer clusters emerge. Lawsuits follow. The government eventually pays compensation, but the damage is done. Project Plowshare is quietly discontinued in 1977. The dream of peaceful nuclear excavation dies, but the underground testing continues for another 15 years. 928 nuclear detonations beneath American soil, each one leaving behind a cavity of radioactive glass, each one a secret chamber sealed in stone. But the darkest experiments conducted in secret aren't about bombs, they're about the mind. 1953. The Korean War has just ended. American prisoners of war return home with strange stories, brainwashing, forced confessions, psychological manipulation. The CIA becomes obsessed with a single question: can the human mind be controlled? The answer becomes MKUltra. MKUltra was a covert CIA program that ran from 1953 to 1973, conducting experiments on mind control and behavioral modification, often without subjects' knowledge or consent. For 20 years, the CIA funds experiments at universities, hospitals, and prisons across America. Researchers test LSD, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, electroshock therapy. They dose unwitting subjects with drugs, lock patients in dark rooms for weeks, attempt to erase memories and implant new ones. Some experiments are conducted underground, in basements, in windowless rooms where subjects lose all sense of time, where isolation breaks the mind faster than any drug. The program operates in absolute secrecy. No congressional oversight, no informed consent. Subjects include prisoners, psychiatric patients, even CIA employees who don't know they're being tested. One CIA scientist, Frank Olson, is given LSD without his knowledge during a retreat. Days later, disturbed and paranoid, he falls to his death from a hotel window. The CIA calls it suicide. Decades later, his family fights for the truth. Exhumation reveals injuries inconsistent with a fall. Questions remain unanswered. In 1973, as Watergate scandal threatens to expose the CIA's secrets, Director Richard Helms orders the destruction of all MKUltra files. Thousands of documents are shredded, burned, erased from existence, but 20,000 pages survive by accident. Filed in the wrong cabinet, discovered during a Freedom of Information Act request in 1977. Most MKUltra records were destroyed in 1973, but approximately 20,000 documents survived and were declassified following a Freedom of Information Act request. The revelations shock America. Senate hearings follow. The CIA admits to unethical experiments, but the full scope remains hidden. How many subjects? How many died? How many experiments were conducted in facilities that remain classified? The underground world of American intelligence has shown its face, and the face is monstrous. These underground facilities, these secret experiments, they don't exist in isolation. They're symptoms of something larger, a culture of secrecy that burrows deeper into American society with each passing decade. The Cold War ends, the Soviet Union collapses, the nuclear threat fades, but the underground infrastructure doesn't disappear. It expands. After September 11, 2001, America relearns the lesson of 1949. The government is vulnerable. Not to Soviet missiles this time. To terrorists with box cutters, to enemies who don't wear uniforms or respect borders. The response is familiar. Go deeper underground, build more bunkers, expand surveillance, increase secrecy. Mount Weather activates on September 11th. Key government officials are evacuated to underground bunkers. Vice President Dick Cheney spends months moving between classified locations, rarely sleeping in the same place twice. The infrastructure built for nuclear war now serves a different purpose, but the logic remains the same. Democracy must survive, even if it has to hide. New facilities are constructed. Existing ones are modernized. Billions of dollars flow into classified budgets. The exact locations remain secret. The capabilities remain secret. Even the total cost remains secret. And the surveillance systems that once tracked Soviet bombers now turn inward. The NSA, operating from its own massive underground data centers, begins collecting information on millions of Americans. Phone records, emails, internet searches, all stored in vast server farms, many of them built underground for security and cooling. When Edward Snowden reveals the scope of NSA surveillance in 2013, the world learns what America has become, a nation that watches itself, that stores secrets in silicon buried beneath the earth, that has turned the paranoia of the Cold War into permanent policy. The underground facilities of the 1950s were meant to protect America from external threats. The underground systems of the 21st century watch Americans themselves. But there are other stories, whispered stories, stories that official documents don't confirm, but that won't disappear. Dulce Bays. According to some accounts, a massive underground facility near Dulce, New Mexico, 7 levels deep, secret genetic experiments, joint operations with extraterrestrial beings. The stories spread through UFO communities. Former intelligence officers claim knowledge. Witnesses describe seeing unusual aircraft and military convoys. The government denies it exists. No documents confirm it. No budget line items. No satellite photos showing construction. And yet, the stories persist, because once you know that Mount Weather was real, that Raven Rock was real, that the government did conduct mind control experiments in secret, the question becomes, what else might be true? The danger of secrecy is that it breeds speculation. When governments operate in darkness, citizens fill the void with imagination. Some of those imaginations produce conspiracy theories, but some produce questions that deserve answers. How many underground facilities exist today? What experiments are currently being conducted in classified sites? What technologies are being developed beyond public knowledge? We don't know. We can't know. Because the classification system that once protected nuclear secrets now protects everything. Millions of documents classified every year. Thousands of facilities operating without public oversight. Black budgets that dwarf the Manhattan Project. The underground world has become a metaphor for American secrecy itself. Vast, impenetrable, always expanding, always beyond reach. There's a reason humans hide things underground. It's primal, ancient. From the earliest cave shelters to medieval dungeons to modern bunkers, we have always associated the underground with safety, with secrecy, with survival, but also with fear. Underground is where we bury our dead, where we lock away our waste, where we hide our shame. The earth swallows what we cannot face in daylight. America's underground infrastructure reveals both impulses, the desire to preserve and the desire to conceal. The bunkers and command centers represent noble intentions, protecting democracy, ensuring continuity of government, preparing for the worst so that civilization might survive. But the secret experiments, the surveillance systems, the programs conducted without oversight or consent, these represent something darker, the belief that the ends justify the means. That security justifies secrecy. That power justifies hiding the truth from those who granted that power in the first place. Democracy cannot function underground. It requires sunlight, transparency, accountability. When government operates in shadows, when decisions are made behind closed doors sealed by classification stamps, democracy suffocates. The challenge of the 21st century is the same as the challenge of the Cold War. How do we balance security with freedom? How do we protect ourselves without losing what makes us worth protecting? The underground facilities will remain, that's certain. The threats are real. The need for secure command centers and emergency operations will persist. But the question is whether those facilities serve democracy or undermine it. Right now, somewhere beneath America, lights are on in chambers carved from stone. Operators watch screens. Generators hum. Blast doors stand ready to seal. Food supplies wait in storage. Water reserves sit in tanks. The infrastructure of survival remains active, waiting for a crisis that may or may not come. And somewhere, in classified facilities whose names we don't know, experiments continue. Technologies develop beyond public knowledge. Systems operate that we won't learn about for decades, if ever. The underground world exists in parallel to the one we see, always present, always hidden, a reminder that beneath the surface of every society lies another layer, deeper, darker, more complex than we imagine. What's hidden underneath isn't just tunnels and bunkers. It's the secrets we keep from ourselves, the uncomfortable truths about power and security, and the price we pay for both. The mountains keep their secrets well. The stone doesn't speak, but the documents eventually surface. The truth, like water, finds the cracks. And slowly, year by year, we learn what was buried beneath our feet all along. The question is whether we're ready to face it, whether we're brave enough to demand that light reach even the deepest chambers, whether democracy can survive when so much of government lives in darkness, because in the end, what's hidden underneath reflects what's hidden inside us, our fears, our need for control, our willingness to sacrifice principle for safety. The bunkers will endure, the mountains will stand, and deep below, in chambers sealed from the world above, America's underground secrets will wait. Some will eventually surface, others will remain buried. But knowing they exist changes everything. Once you understand that beneath the ordinary world lies another world, hidden and vast, you can never see the surface the same way again. Every mountain becomes a question. Every locked door becomes a mystery. Every classified document becomes a truth waiting to be told. What's hidden underneath? More than we know, less than we fear, and everything we need to understand about who we are, what we've done, and what we're still willing to hide from ourselves. The underground secrets of America aren't just about places. They're about choices, about the moment when security became secrecy, when protection became paranoia, when survival meant sacrificing transparency, and they're about the truth that we carry now, that beneath our feet in stone and steel lies the physical manifestation of American power, hidden, waiting, silent, until it isn't.